What if we call it the Melody Show?
I guess it's the Melody Show. Dave Ryan, December 17th, 73. And Melody. Happy Mother's Day, everybody. It was Mother's Day this previous week, so happy Mother's Day to everybody out there. Kids are pretty awesome. I know, Dave, you can attest to that being a dad, but David, I sent you an article earlier in the week. I didn't want to rip it apart or anything, but it was just interesting. We always talk on this program about culture war.
Yeah.
Culture war tends to be a term associated with like the anti-Marxism, right? The anti-America rhetoric. And Huffington Post article, how Project Veritas is advancing the anti-LGBT agenda in their schools. And they go on in the body of the article that, quote, front line of the country's culture war. So people in progressive media, robots in progressive media that jot journalism for them, are even using the term culture war. So this is kind of how they move definitions. Now, and I wouldn't doubt it if they take culture kind of like what they did with fake news, right, and turn it into disinformation. I wonder what culture war is going to morph into now. A lot of times I feel like, Dave, you and I are so ahead of the curve politically that, quite frankly, it just sounds like jumble. And then it turns around that it actually happens. So I wouldn't be surprised if you actually see the culture war get flipped around and Republicans get blamed for the culture war that is going on in the country.
Which is interesting because we're just on defense.
Yeah, but that's what they have to do, right? Because then when the Republicans use culture war, they think it's propaganda, that they're the ones doing the culture war. Right. Because the progressives are building the culture forward of it. Like, they're going to do something. It's going to be called, once again, disinformation fake news is never talked about. It's not used anymore. It's fake news. I still say it to people because it's hilarious.
Fake news.
Fake news. It's fake news.
It's fake news.
It turned into disinformation, did it not? That's all. It's literally it's used in government lingo.
Yeah.
So culture war, like, don't get it mistaken. They use the word war. And if there's warfare, there's tactics in warfare. So just interesting, something I thought about. And obviously it's always worth mentioning here on the program, considering, like I said, David, sometimes it does seem you and I are calling things out a few weeks in advance that we actually really see them come full circle.
Much like the World War III, and then we found out there were boots on the ground thanks to a leak from some Minecraft gaming nerd or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, only 7 though, right? Or something like
14. Yeah, just 14.
That's all I am.
Yeah, just 14 troops, boots on the wall. You know, it's weird. You haven't heard nothing about it.
Yeah, it's almost like you wouldn't have heard anything about it if there wasn't a leak.
Yeah, it's weird. You don't even hear about the guy that leaked it. They just like disappeared him.
Yeah, he went missing, I'm guessing.
What was the distraction that week? Oh, the spy balloon. Did we cover the other spy balloon last week?
I can't remember because there's been so many balloons, Ryan. I think we did.
So funny.
Pretty sure we did.
You know what's funny, honey, is the competency in the United States government currently. But it's got to be designed. Back to the Tucker thing this week. Like, I really hope Tucker. I'm not bringing it up. I badmouth him, or I don't hate Tucker. Honestly, I've never been one of his consumer of his content.
I hope he takes it a step farther.
Yeah, he's got to hammer home why.
Yeah,
you know, like he's got to like take Alex Jones style information and make it not sound like Alex Jones said it. You know, like if that's even possible. You know, but they have Epstein Island, bro.
I think the information is so crazy for some people to even comprehend that no matter how you explain it, it comes off as crazy conspiracy. And it's like, no, this is just a fact.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, what was different from what Tucker Carlson said at his Twitter thing this week and what I would say on my Facebook live streams? 10 million followers?
Yeah, his was just a little softer.
It's so funny.
Dave really knows how to get me going, dear.
What are you coming?
The most effective way to get through parents who won't vaccinate their kids. This is a Time Magazine article. Doctors of public health officials try to persuade parents to get their kids vaccinated against childhood diseases. Only 69% of 2-year-olds in America have fully received their vaccine series. I'm not going to go through and read this whole article. It is an interesting topic when public health officials, government, big pharma, millions of dollars shutting down the economy, and what it seemed like a Chinese spy weapon shut down America and ruined everything, that you're going to try to get parents to question the shots you're pushing.
The whole article has a premise that is wild to me, which is the fact that you it sounds like there's a necessity, a need to get through to the parents who aren't fully vaccinating their kids.
Well, it's also crazy. 70% is still pretty good. You're acting like it's like 20%. Like you.
I
like
wonder where
not-
that 70% number comes from too.
Well, I'm sure this data is super sound, David. They wouldn't like print a number that was wrong.
Yeah, I'm interested where that 70% comes from. I bet it's higher, and the 70% probably like includes like COVID or something.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I don't get flu shotted. I don't get my kid flu shotted, but we do tetanus and measles and mumps, and they give chicken pox now. You know, like I caught the chicken
that's what I'm saying.
pox,
I bet that 70% number like includes a flu shot or something. Like a flu shots are ridiculous.
Yeah, like it's just crazy. Obviously, once again, it's just one of those things we always got to talk about. It's so crazy that now we just call it culture war, right? That this thing that they're trying to like guilt, they're making it for the party that wants to be accepting. They're awfully not accepting. If I just question things, or if you have a different opinion, like I'm like 80% like okay on board with a lot of the stuff, you know, like really, truly, like the ideas or even conversating. But then you bring up that 20%, and they're like, "You're you know,
it doesn't take far. Yeah, it doesn't take far to be even people who are pretty left, like people like Bill Maher and stuff. If they take like one wrong position, people on the left disavow them, and people on the right like welcome him with open arms. And it's like, hold on now, this guy.
You forgot what this guy stood for,
right? And to be honest, a lot of us did that on the right with Elon Musk too, where it was like,
and Rogan
entirely forgetting like 90% of the things he stands for, and then it's but he likes free speech. I guess you take the wins where you can get them.
Yeah, but you've just diluted the movement of like pure liberty, limited. Like you don't even hear limited government anymore used as a right-wing talking point. It's just like free speech. It's like the basics of like democracy at this point: free speech and borders and like a budget that isn't like you don't even hear limited government,
right?
Which is like really the problem of all these things. So it's just interesting. Like we said this during the pandemic. If there was billionaires being made, there was like 10 billionaires made under COVID or something that were tied to big pharma or owned mask companies and other things. Melody, knock it off, please. There was like 10 billionaires made during all this stuff. And if this was anything else, if this was a weapons manufacturer like Halliburton or what was the other one that got all the other contracts? BlackRock got all these contracts and stuff like with the military industrial complex. That's all you'd hear about. This is corruption at the highest levels. Crickets during COVID. I was actually shamed. And then now you're going to try to make
like
it
the one time where like you're really going to come in handy here.
Yeah, it's like the one time, like, no, this is crazy. Shut up, you conspiracy theorists. The guy's making billions of dollars. You're saving grandparents. It's not even true, you know? So I hate how everything's been post-COVID showing, but this is crazy. You're painting it okay to like shame people. But what else do you expect, honestly? Of course, they show pictures of DNA. Oh, never mind. This is something else. David, have you ever quit a job?
Yeah.
How many, if you don't mind sharing?
2
jobs. Okay. Quitting is wildly underrated life strategy. Here's why.
Oh, sorry. 3.
Ooh, 3. I recently went through a job change myself and I quit and I left a decent company. You know, it wasn't terrible. It was company culture, I would say.
Culture war.
And I won't go on to say anything after that, but it's just crazy that in some ways, the ways that they get back at you, like whether if it's like calling you off a day of work or some kind of other tactic that they use to make you feel a certain way, or they try to make you feel like they're pushing you out. And me personally, I had a little bit of like, I felt like I kept my pride a little, right? Because I felt like they were trying to push me out. And that could have been my perception, but it almost felt good to quit in that instance. And when this article came up, I kind of just like reevaluated what I did and not second guess myself, you know, because I thought about it. And it's just interesting. Like a lot of us always tell never quit, but sometimes it's actually good to quit and put your energy into something else, which is really what like the moral of the issue is. It's like, it's kind of like if in your bad relationship or a bad spot, why keep going?
It's in a lot of times very beneficial to the person who does it, because in most cases, long-term employees kind of get taken for granted a little bit by their employers. Even good employers do this, and it's not even necessarily on purpose or by design or maliciously, but sometimes they just assume that the person's going to stay with them and be loyal forever just for the sake of doing it, and oftentimes forget that this person shows up to work to provide for their family. So, simple things like it's as minor as it seems, but just sitting your people down and talking to them frequently and letting them know that they're appreciated, and not only monetarily but just as simple as telling them can go a long ways. But if that doesn't happen, then you have options as an employer or as an employee.
Yeah, and that's kind of like I've been talking in private with people just about, like, I've worked enough jobs, and I've worked at good places, like super good places and pretty good places and bad places. I've worked at the whole spectrum. Like, I can kind of see the writing on the wall. I'm not a businessman, obviously. I'm not claiming to be one. But, like, I can see the writing on the walls and what I want, what I'm after. And, like, I've worked with enough people. Dave, you and I were part of an organization that's very rare to be part of something like that. And I think just that experience alone, like, set the standard for a lot of things for me when it comes to jobs and coworkers and, like, that just whole environment for success. And just leaving, no one searching for that. It's kind of like, when to quit, like if it almost felt good quitting.
Yeah.
It's just a weird phenomena to have, like, to be part of stuff. And, like, you put time. I worked at the one company for quite a while, like a year, which is quite a while nowadays. And with the way the economy is, you're not sure if jobs will always be around. And I'm in construction, but it was like, you know what? I'm willing to take a risk here, because of X, Y, and Z. And, yeah, it's just, man, you're causing a lot of noise, kid, breaking the house. It's just a lot to it. And I'm just going to segue it into this too. They always said politics doesn't matter, right, David?
Yeah, a lot of people say that.
All right. USA Today article. 3 big ways the debt ceiling and debt fight affects you, your Social Security, your loans, and your 401k and more. So tell me again how politics doesn't affect your life.
Well, I showed people on our messaging group, the 5 of us. You can watch on one of my 401ks, like, literally the second Biden takes office. If it wasn't the fact that it's so much affected me, it would be the most hilarious thing that I've ever seen. It's literally the date, like, he takes over.
And they always say that.
But the economy's doing good. We're not in a recession.
Growth recession. No recession. Growth recession. What to do if recession? Depression. How will we get out of it? Like, and that's what I mean. It's like we're not seeing it just painted. Like, it's so much information, we can't keep up with it. But yeah, of course, the debt ceiling is going to affect your loans when banks are going to have to go to the government that is defaulting on. Like, Dave, isn't this like 10th grade, 11th, 12th grade civics government participation government?
It's, yeah, if nothing else, it's extremely common sense economics.
Yeah, and not to mention, these same people that teach me this want more money to teach me this, when obviously I don't understand it. But I'm told that the private school does a worse job. We pay the most and get the least, and then I'm told it's because we have X, Y, and Z. But maybe not everybody's meant to vote and care about voting. I mean, have we ever thought of that?
I think we've said that in the past.
The elites. Yeah. Social Security, Medicare, federal salaries at risk if U.S. defaults. That can't happen, David, especially, do you know why? Because the government employs more people than anybody else. So we're in a corner now.
Yeah, it certainly seems like there's no out. What
the new poll favoring Trump got wrong and pundits misled.
I'm sorry. The new poll. Are they referring to the poll that had Trump up over Biden nationally?
No one was more suspicious of the widely showcased newest ABC Washington Post poll than ABC
a notoriously
George.
right-leaning poll, I suspect.
Yeah, George Stephanopoulos, who questioned its accuracy live on the air on its Sunday, May 7th release. Stephanopoulos was suspicious given the inconsistencies in the survey, which both purported to overwhelmingly... Where is it?
Don't say.
Co-sponsored survey at this was apparently designed for media drama, but not the accurate public opinion metric. Of course, political professionals point out that polls done this far out have little value, and much can and will change in 18 months by November 2024.
Oh, that sounds like a promise. Can and will, huh?
Ronald Reagan, Bill Clinton, and Barack Obama are just 3 recent presidents who rebounded from comparable sagging polls. Why put a Ronald Reagan in there? Like, Bush's approval rating went to the sky. Whatever.
Well, there was...
Maybe. Well, yeah, I know there's... Well, he lost the election, David. So, I mean, what are they... What? We acknowledge the polling around 40% favorable is nothing for the Biden administration to gloat about, however. According to Gallup poll, is consistent with almost all 7 presidents at this time, except for President George Bush, the Iraq invasion, Kuwait, and Portugal. Yeah, just interesting. You always hear polls, and it's all about their sample size. You can make mathematics do everything, and it's just interesting.
Well, here's... I mean, two things about that poll. I guarantee, and I didn't look into it, but given the fact it's ABC, Washington Post, I think it was, the odds that they oversampled Republicans is nil. And the other thing that's important to note, nationally, for the Trump versus DeSantis debate that we could have, Trump leads Biden nationally. Was it 6 by 4 or 5, 6 points more than DeSantis would?
That's a huge number, man.
Yeah,
that's huge. Like, if they're not even sampling correctly.
And sample, I don't know. Regardless,
I don't know, or are they sampling correctly with how close the election was? Because, like, the election, even the 2020, 2016, like, it was flipped. Like, no matter what poll you looked at, they're like this and this, and a lot of, like, it came down to votes overnight and statistical improbabilities, of course.
I don't know.
I ran into somebody.
Easy to pick apart, but
yeah, I ran into somebody that genuinely thought that unemployment is the lowest it's ever been under Biden. I was trying to trash talk some Trump stuff. It's just hilarious to me. I have something quick here, and then I think I can move on to the summertainment. Finland Prime Minister announces divorce after she spotted dancing with a man in a video in a club. I wonder if it's that one that posed with no shirt on under their sports coat.
Was that no? That was New Zealand, wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't remember anymore.
I think it was New Zealand because I think that was the one that we interfered for in the New Zealand election.
I actually got 2 more. Apple is getting involved in virtual reality, David. They're calling it mixed reality. I kind of sent this to you earlier.
Yes. It's interesting that they're coming on so late.
Yes, this is actually one of the things because it's highly prototype, which goes against Apple's standard of releasing things until they're like near perfect to them or whatever. And they, one of the reasons, people are familiar with the matter, said that the reason they're releasing it now is because they'd rather be there than be too late. So with all the people that already have virtual reality and things of that nature, that they need to show up now. It's going to be like it's going to be a mixed reality. I think they're going to be offering things that most don't have. They're going to be like goggles that you can like see real life and then also like see whatever's on your screen. And the point, David, do you have any idea what something like that would cost from Apple? Like just
from Apple?
Just a ballpark dollar value.
So considering like what other companies charge for very similar things, Apple's going to charge double. So I don't know, call it $2,500, $3 grand.
$3,000. Good job, Dave.
Hilarious.
Yeah,
that sounds right.
Is the Oculus $1,000?
An Oculus, I think, is like $700 or $800. PlayStation's PS VR 2 is like $500, but you also have to purchase the system for $500. So it's $1,000 you're in. And that's considered highly advanced. Relatively speaking, considering it's like a gaming console, it's pretty advanced. But for like, $3,000 is fucking steep.
Fucking Apple. Quick other thing before Decembertainment this week. Slipknot and Dolly Parton are doing an album together.
A whole album?
Apparently.
That's interesting.
Last year, Slipknot released their, I think it was its 6th album on Roadrunner Records, and that's what their contract was for. So they are now basically free of that contract lease, and they are going to release music their way, right? Like they're basically going to own the master. Yeah, fuck it, we get Dolly. And so I almost thought I was getting trolled by the internet. And and I was searching on Google, David, and you know what? It hit me. What was I searching for? What information, like what document, what image, what and then it hit me. Can I even fucking trust Google anymore? If virtual reality and AI are so good and artificial intelligence can make the song of Dolly and Slipknot already. So even if I heard like, check out this sample of Dolly Parton and Slipknot, and it's just somebody with an AI chat GPWXYZ recorder mashing my favorite band with fucking Dolly Parton. So like, you see what I'm saying here? Like there could be whole fake sectors of life crafted. This is like birthing multiverses of things that aren't even the amount of.
Well, there's going to be a very.
Dude, how the fuck do you know what's real anymore? I'm trying to search for information on shit that the information I'm searching for could be real based on the fact that everything's around what an artificial intelligence robot made. Which makes it real to begin with. Like the Slipknot Dolly Parton Slipknot cover actually could exist in an artificial intelligence. It's like it made a multiverse of the thought in the fucking world.
I need to know more about this because I'm interested in what I don't know. Is it like a whole album for real? Like I don't even know what they're gonna do.
They got together for a couple songs.
If it's like, and then if they're covering like a Dolly song, that'd be kind of cool. But like doing a whole album, that sounds.
I think it's original material.
Yeah, that's weird.
Can you imagine Corey Taylor touring with Dolly Parton?
No.
I mean,
no, I can't.
Bring country chicks, right?
I'd kind of
goth country chicks at a Slipknot show. I'm kind of into that.
I don't know. I'd be more interested. I don't know. This might be out there, but let's start with like a Slipknot cover of Dolly Parton first and go from there. And that might be out there, but
I don't think Slipknot should cover anybody's song. They're fucking Slipknot.
I don't know. I like covers. Not like
okay.
Not like Weezer amount of liking covers where they literally do a whole album dedicated to covers. But like a cover, I think is really, really cool.
Corey Taylor can cover under his other band, Stone Sour. When it comes to Slipknot, make real music and your own music, you fuck. Don't be watering down your great legacy because you want to fucking smash Stone Sour and Slipknot together. I'm getting pissed off about this because I don't even know if it's real, but I seen it. I read it in art. I invested so much energy into this after seeing this. I was like, what the hell is going on in the metal world right now? Is this what we're doing?
I think so. Almost typed in Stone Sour Dolly Parton.
Crazy. Decembertainment this week. Other than it being Mother's Day, right? My daughter, I threw her birthday party this weekend. So, quick personal one. Anybody that came to the birthday party that is also a viewer of the show, I appreciate you guys as always. But it was just cool. My kid's getting older. And it's the first party I threw in my own apartment. And I felt pretty wealthy, surrounded by family and loved ones around my amazing daughter. And then Mother's Day is the following day. And then I get to go celebrate my mother and celebrate me and pass that on. And I don't know. Got to count your blessings, right, Dave? And especially nowadays when so many people have trouble with relationships and bonding and traumas and relationship issues and just trying to stay positive and healthy in this ever-changing world and landscape that we're all contingent on living. Interesting to say the least, and always awesome. Truest entertainment this week.
Oh.
Ditch cable. No, thank you. So yeah, David. While I was out, here we go.
If you trust Snopes enough for this one, it's not political, so I kind of
okay. So here we go.
They're saying it's satire.
Here we go. See what I'm saying?
The claim originated with a satirical website called Madhouse Magazine, the greatest rock and roll comedy magazine in the world.
All right. See, I'm glad we got down to the bottom of this.
There was a mashup, though.
This is what's crazy. Like AI, they could really. Somebody's gonna make a Dolly Slipknot mash cover.
You can make mashups. That's not that hard.
Jolene, I'm begging you, please don't take my man.
That's horrible. I'm not gonna lie, for the original.
Oh, lordy. December entertainment this week. Well, I was out searching for Mother's Day gifts. My mom's a big knickknack collector. And actually, Dave, where do you go when you want knickknacks? But like Goodwill and Amvets, right?
I was gonna say Goodwill.
Yeah, dude, the amount of stuff that is out there that is so interesting. You know, I'm finding that maybe it's because I'm getting older and I feel like Winston from 1984 that likes to go to places that have like old. Dude, I bought books for like 99 cents, like The Adventures of Robin Hood, like shit from my childhood. You know what I mean? It's just, that's how I know I'm getting older. But it's just, it's like I found peace or something, you know, like walking through all this history, being surrounded by stuff that's as old as I am or something. Like, I don't know, they're weird. Like we had great flea markets in the Buffalo area for a while now. And we have a pretty good scrappers market.
There was the Super Flea for a long time, and then it became Walmart.
Yeah, well, pretty much the same thing. But like, it's still like, I don't know. It's just interesting, man. Like I was reflecting, like I saw a lot of cool silver stuff, like old books, like hardcover books when they only made hardcover. We got to start buying books, people. Like really go. I'm going to start getting in the habit of this and taking my daughter to see it, especially because she needs to like see the old world. And, you know, because everything's so easy to put together in one device now, or one fucking, your bed folds out and flips out and picks your clothes out and puts your makeup on, you know, like.
Well, they did have, not to say the apartment area in which you stay, but the studio apartments at those places had Murphy beds, which are badass.
What is a Murphy bed, David?
They fold up into the fucking wall. It's amazing.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's crazy. The studio apartments are badass.
Huh.
They have like a mini fridge and a Murphy bed. That's about it.
Well, I've started with less, you know. All the same, it was just cool, especially taking the kid. I didn't find anything at Amvets, but I did get my mom a knickknack from another store, and she enjoyed it. But the point of it was, like, yeah, it was weird that you thought the same thing, David, because it's kind of like their era and generation. But it was just real cool, man, to see a lot of the history. I saw a lot of Jesus stuff too, which told me a lot of old ladies are dying. And yeah, I guess I'll leave it there. Dave Ryan, December 17th, 73. Catch us Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern for the weekly show. Dave and I will be there as always. Everybody that made it through the episodes this week, I appreciate you the most. You're my true warriors. Dave and I always appreciate your time. I appreciate your time, David, and I'll see you guys later.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Ryan.
Rumble.
Oh, yeah.
Gotta rumble it.
That is important.
Rumble it up, everybody.
Thanks.
Peace, man.